Is the Adventist Church allowing gay marriage now? Is the Adventist Church allowing homosexual unions and blesses them? Pope Leo just made it a point that marriage is between man and woman. It's trending today, dear friends. But will Pope Leo also defend the seventh-day Sabbath as he defends the institution of marriage in creation? Welcome, dear friends, to TIBP Live. Kindly like and share this important Bible study. Fox News says, Pope Leo says family based on union between a man and a woman. Pope Leo versus LGBTQ. Pope Leo XIV has affirmed traditional Catholic doctrine regarding marriage, saying that it is founded on the stable union between a man and a woman, which I agree. The Pope, who was elected to lead the Catholic Church on May 8, was making his first major remarks as pontiff during a private audience with the Vatican's diplomatic corps on Friday.
Diplomatic corps that the family is founded on the stable union between a man and a woman. This position is a far cry from the former Pope's blessing of LGBTQIA+ relationships, which is sending liberal Catholics into a tailspin.
I'm a little concerned about this choice for the LGBTQ plus community. In 2012, he gave an address to bishops, and he lamented the popular culture fostered and sympathy for beliefs and practices that are at odds with the gospel, and that's a quote. And then he cited the homosexual lifestyle and alternative families comprised of same-sex partners and their adopted children. I think that Pope Francis certainly made great changes in terms of embracing the LGBTQ plus community and extending blessings to the community. And I hope that this Pope doesn't roll back.
And elderly enjoy dignity as God's creatures. Liberal online commentators blasted the Pope for his views, with this person saying, I do think it's fairly tragic that the new Pope has regressive views on gender and sexuality, but I think all the people standing the cardinals forgot that the Catholic Church is an inherently evil institution. Pope Francis was sort of a fluke, and even he was far from perfect.
We remember that while Pope Francis also said the Church could not accept same-sex marriage, conservatives accused the late pontiff, Pope Francis, of sowing confusion, Babylon, among the faithful by being more welcoming than his predecessors to LGBTQIA people and approving the blessings of individuals in same-sex relationships. But Pope Leo XIV was contrary to this. The appointment of Pope Leo sees a return to the Catholic Church's roots. The new Pope confirmed in a meeting with the Vatican Diplomat Corps that family is founded on the stable union between a man and a woman. This position is a far cry from the Pope's blessing of LGBTQIA+ relationships, which is sending liberal Catholics into a tailspin.
But other commentators pointed out that Pope Leo is merely a return to normal programming for the Catholic Church. This person said, today Pope Leo XIV reaffirmed two foundational Catholic truths. Marriage is between one man and one woman. Abortion is demonically evil. He also declared truth must be spoken even with blunt language. No ambiguity, no compromise, just clarity.
A Seventh-day Adventist church in Germany announces and celebrates gay marriage in their church before a divine service.
Dann darf ich auch noch eine weitere Hochzeit nochmal ankündigen. Mal gucken, ob wir das hinkriegen. Ja, genau. Hans-Jürgen und Holger. Die sind auch heute unter uns. Ihr Lieben, nochmal von der Gemeinde, im Namen der Gemeinde, alles Gute zu eurer Hochzeit. Glückwünsche. Ja, und Gottes Segen. Wir haben auch ein kleines Präsent für euch mitgebracht. Ja. Schön, dass ihr unter uns seid. Alles Gute für eure Ehe. Ja? Dankeschön. Gerne.
The gates of our church should be open to all the LGBT community and visitors. But this does not mean that we support the LGBT lifestyle. And pastors should not affirm LGBT in our pulpits in our church. This is some strange fire inside the SDA Church. This is what is going on in the SDA Church in the Western countries today. Does the SDA Church now officially allow it? Let's see what Pastor Ted Wilson has to say.
But you were washed, but you were sanctified, but you were justified in the name of the Lord Jesus and by the Spirit of our God. What a precious promise we have. We can be washed and changed by the mighty power of heaven. Now, this subject is a delicate one. And I want to tell you, fellow leaders and church members, we cannot be silent on what the Bible teaches as correct living and practice. The Seventh-day Adventist Church has carefully studied these topics and has issued voted statements by representatives of the World Church, the Executive Committee, and other bodies that reflect the biblical view on human sexuality, including statements on homosexuality and transgenderism, adultery, fornication, and LGBTQIA+ are in direct opposition to God's law and heavenly plan for human sexuality. We must make a conscious choice, even though unpopular, to speak up for Bible truth and not simply go along with societal trends. I encourage you to allow Bible-based groups like Coming Out Ministries to point people to the Bible and God's power to overcome sin according to His Word.
Difference, though there are issues and struggles in the Adventist Church, it continues to be the one and only remnant Church of God. No discussion about that. But the devil is in fact working to destroy the remnant church, and he knows that he has a short time. What happened to the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Germany is not a good sign, and we cannot affirm what the Bible calls abomination. After Ted Wilson preached and gave his statement, an LGBT group inside the SDA Church, a small group, dear friends, were hurt by some of his statements, particularly these statements, biblical ones: adultery, fornication, and LGBTQIA+ are in direct opposition to God's law and heavenly plan for human sexuality.
The tweet that I'm talking about, or the words that you said in your sermon, were adultery, fornication, and LGBTQIA+ are in direct opposition to God's law and heavenly plan for human sexuality. And when I heard that, I was quite disturbed that someone of your caliber would actually say those words. But when you say adultery and fornication, those words are something that is an action, something that someone has done. But someone who is lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, asexual, etc., is not an action. It's a self-identification of that person. Lesbians, transgender, etc., are self-identified as that. They know from usually from a child age onward that that is what they are. It's not something that they have done or experienced or chose. It's something that they feel. So, for you to add LGBTQ, the person, in with adultery and fornication, I find totally unacceptable. I believe you're very mistaken, and you have led many people astray by saying this. Being lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, etc., is not a societal trend. It is something that we know we are from the very beginning.
Dear friends, we can never trust our feelings because our feelings fluctuate, and the flesh cannot be the basis of who we are, but the basis should be who made us. And what is our purpose in life? That is to glorify God. Let us put some more biblical background. The creation of man was a cooperative work by two individual persons. God established a clear sexual differentiation between male and female. Both were created in the image of God. Both were blessed by God. Both were commanded to be fruitful and multiply, while the LGBT community cannot be fruitful and cannot multiply. The woman was God's gift to man because he brought her to man. God did not take a bone out of Adam's head because Eve was not to be his head. Trampled upon by Adam, he took a bone from his rib, from his bosom, very close to his heart, because he was to love and cherish her. Dear friends, the Antichrist have gained approval of the people by proclaiming and affirming marriage is only between a man and a woman, which the Bible clearly teach. But there is a greater issue here. The marriage that Pope Leo is defending, as you know, is instituted before sin, at time where there was no sin and there was no Jews. Marriage on the 6th day and the holy 7th-day Sabbath are twin institutions, Adventist Home says. Meaning, if you will defend marriage, you will have to defend the 7th-day Sabbath, as both are binding. The 7th-day Sabbath is God's seal of creation. He rested because it was God who worked 6 and created all things and placed it. He placed this, the 7th-day Sabbath, in the 4th commandment for the universe to remember, but the whole Christian world chooses to forget by making Sunday the holy day of God. You will not hear Pope Leo defend the 7th-day Sabbath as the holy day of God. That's inconsistent, dear friends. He will defend the sanctity of marriage. But 24 hours later, 6th-day marriage, the 7th day, comes the holy day of the Lord. He completely rejects and opposes that Saturday is the holy day of God. The truth is, dear friends, the world will believe someone who will defend the sanctity of marriage and will defend Sunday as a holy day of God. The mixture of error and truth is more dangerous, dear friends. Those who support LGBTQIA gay marriage have been using the media and the civil powers of the world to redefine marriage institution as the loving union of two persons without regard to gender, and anyone who disagrees is considered to be unmerciful and bigoted. Why the society falls apart? Answer: because the society forgot about the Sabbath God gave as a weekly reminder of who we are, why are we here, and where are we going. It is a reminder of His greatness and power, a sign that He is our Creator. The Sabbath with respect and obedience that the LGBT lifestyle contradicts. I disagree that a person with homosexuality cannot modify themselves because Jesus said that we can be born again. I have personally seen how people from the LGBT community have turned their eyes onto Jesus and modified and changed and became a new creation. And they have forsaken their homosexuality identity. How? By turning their eyes onto Christ, the author and finisher of our faith. If you agree with the transforming power of Christ in our lives, kindly type in the comment section, "My eyes are on Christ." Kindly type in the comment section, "My eyes on Christ." This is the only way that we can change our ways. My eyes on Christ. I invite you, dear friends, to take the biblical stand today between marriage and the Sabbath, twin institution for mankind. God bless.